White House has failed them. Hello from Doha, everyone. I'm Kamal Santamaria with the world news from Al Jazeera. Also ahead, Turkey calls on the UN to create refugee camps inside Syria and give them full protection. After South African police shoot dead 34 striking miners, it's the protesters who are charged with murder. And shifting worlds, the final part of our series on global warming and its effect on those in the Arctic. The US election just 2 months away, and now the man who will officially challenge Barack Obama for the White House has told Americans it's time to turn the page. Mitt Romney told his supporters at the Republican convention in Tampa, Florida, that Obama had steered the country in the wrong direction and that only he could put the US back on top.
I wish President Obama had succeeded because I want America to succeed. But his promises gave way to disappointment and division. This isn't something we have to accept. Now is the moment when we can do something, and with your help, we will do something. Now is the moment when we can stand up and say, I'm an American. I make my destiny. We deserve better. My children deserve better. My family deserves better. My country deserves better.
Live to Alan Fisher, who's been covering this Republican National Convention for us in Tampa, Florida, where it's, midnight now, Alan, and no one wants to go home.
There's a few people still hanging around. They want to pop balloons. They want to swap stories and talk about how they're going to plan the election campaign, because, of course, many people will leave here energized by that speech. Mitt Romney, never regarded as a great public orator, but he certainly struck all the right notes in the hall in a speech that felt it was aimed more at the millions watching at home than the 6,000 Republicans here in the hall. He talked about his parents and his son and his wife and got quite emotional. And he talked about how he would transform the country if people elected him to be president. With me now is Joe Watkins, who's been steering us through the Republican convention for the last 3 days. Joe, people keep telling me it was a home run. Is that something you would agree with?
I would agree. It was a great speech. Mitt Romney gave a towering speech. He told America who he was. And for everybody in this arena and everybody watching on television, they got the sense that this is an honest man, a sincere man, a family man, a man of faith, and a businessman, somebody who can put Americans back to work.
And he kept beating up on Barack Obama.
Well, he beat up on Barack Obama, but not in a mean way. I mean, he said that he thought he was a good man. He'd done some good things. Certainly, he thought that giving the order on Osama bin Laden was something noble to do. But he said that he hadn't gotten the job done. Certainly for 23 million Americans, many of whom may have voted for President Obama, but those Americans who aren't working right now, those 23 million Americans, he's saying to them, give me a chance and I'll put you back to work.
Did we see the start of a recurring theme through this election campaign where he's saying, look, it was okay to vote for Barack Obama, it didn't work out, you should vote for me now?
Absolutely. He wants people to know that you may be a Democrat and that's okay. You may have voted for Barack Obama in 2008 as a Democrat or as a Republican. But he's saying, give me a chance in 2012. I have a plan to put you back to work. And he outlined what his plan is, a 5-point plan, including 12 million new jobs.
Well, let's hear what he had to say about the economy. This election is going to be about the economy, the economy, the economy. This is what Mitt Romney had to say.
I'm running for president to help create a better future. A future where everyone who wants a job can find a job. Where no senior fears for the security of their retirement. An America where every parent knows that their child will get an education that leads them to a good job and a bright horizon. And unlike the president, I have a plan to create 12 million new jobs. Paul Ryan and I have 5 steps. First, by 2020, North America will be energy independent by taking full advantage of our oil, our coal, our gas, our nuclear, and our renewables.
Mitt Romney talking about the economy, which is going to be a key battleground in the election in November. Joe is still with us. Do you think that will resonate with people at home?
I think so. Right now, people are worried about their pocketbook or their wallet more than anything else. They're figuring out how they're going to pay their rent, or how they're going to pay their mortgage, or how they're going to pay for their car note, or how they're going to put their kids through school. And so they're worried. And Mitt Romney spoke right to them tonight.
But Mitt Romney has been talking about the economy for months. The economy's not doing terribly well, and he's not that far ahead in the polls. In fact, some polls still put him behind.
Well, he hasn't connected until tonight. Tonight he had a chance to have the undivided attention of 40 million Americans, and I think he really connected. He made himself human, too. He's more than just a businessman. He's not just a cold businessman. He's a person. He's somebody who cares, somebody who hasn't always had it easy himself. And I think tonight he told his story in a wonderful way.
Really?
Yeah.
Not had it easy himself, the son of a millionaire, who's now a multimillionaire?
Yeah, well, as he said he left Michigan because he didn't want to be his father's son. He didn't want to have any advantage because of his father's good work. His father was a guy who didn't get a chance to go to college, who worked a trade and then worked his way up and did very, very well. And he said, you know what, he had some great upbringing and certainly educationally, but he left Michigan because he wanted to strike out on his own. And he went to a state that was foreign to his family, and built a family and built a business, a successful business. And that's a great story, a great American story.
One of the big tasks that any president has is dealing with foreign policy. Barack Obama has had a number of successes in that front, including killing Osama bin Laden. Let's have a listen to what Mitt Romney said on the issue of foreign policy.
Every American was relieved the day President Obama gave the order and SEAL Team 6 took out Osama bin Laden. On another front, every American is less secure today because he has failed to slow Iran's nuclear threat. In his first TV interview as president, he said we should talk to Iran. We're still talking, and Iran's centrifuges are still spinning. President Obama has thrown allies like Israel under the bus, even as he has relaxed sanctions on Castro's Cuba. He abandoned our friends in Poland by walking away from our missile defense commitments. But he's eager to give Russia's President Putin the flexibility he desires after the election. Under my administration, our friends will see more loyalty, and Mr. Putin will see a little less flexibility and more backbone.
Joe, are you surprised that foreign policy was mentioned so little in the speech?
I think that it was good that it was mentioned, but I think Condi Rice said it yesterday, and Mitt Romney said it again today. Foreign policy matters, but America has to be strong in order to lead. Other countries around the world are leaning on America. They're hoping that America becomes strong again so that America can have a leadership position in the world again. And he said that he would return America to that same position. But again, he turned it right back to the economy because that's what Americans care about. They care about the issues right at home. How am I going to be able to pay my bills? Are you going to be able to help me get that done?
Foreign policy doesn't get much of a mention, but is he going to convince the people at home that he can do a better job than Barack Obama with what we've heard?
I think so. I mean, what he said was he made the case that Barack Obama's had 4 years to get it right, that he's complained about what he inherited, but he hasn't had policies that have made it better. His policies of raising taxes on small businesses discourage the job growth. Small companies are not going to create more jobs if their taxes go up. And he's saying, you know what, I understand what business people, especially small business people, need in order to create more jobs. I'm going to give them what they need so they can put you back to work.
But it's all broad brush at the moment. There's no detail there. He needs to start getting into specifics, doesn't he? Or does he keep it broad because if you keep it broad, you can't be pinned down on anything wrong?
Well, he was smart enough to put it into a 5-point plan to make it easy enough for people to hear the 5-point plan. But in the fall, he'll have to give more specifics. And of course, he's got Paul Ryan. Nobody doubts that there'll be specifics with Paul Ryan on the ticket because Paul Ryan is the specifics man.
Joe, it's been a real pleasure having you here with us. Thank you very much indeed. Mitt Romney then sent the Republicans home to fight the election campaign in November the 6th with a rousing finale. Let's take a listen to how he finished his speech here in the Tampa Bay arena.
That united America will care for the poor and the sick, will honor and respect the elderly, and will give a helping hand to those in need. That America is the best within each of us. That America we want for our children. If I'm elected President of these United States, I will work with all my energy and soul to restore that America, to lift our eyes to a better future. That future is our destiny. That future is out there. It is waiting for us. Our children deserve it. Our nation depends on it. The peace and freedom of the world require it. And with your help, we will deliver it. Let us begin that future for America tonight. Thank you so very much. May God bless you. May God bless the American people. And may God bless the United States of America.
Mitt Romney performing perhaps the best speech he's ever made in public. The bar was set high by Paul Ryan. It was added to by Marco Rubio, who introduced him. But he certainly met the challenge that was laid in front of him. Let's take a look at the hall where Mitt Romney perhaps saved his political career. Because if he hadn't done terribly well tonight, given that he's behind in the polls, it could have all ended here. But he certainly inspired and enthused Republicans who will now leave here from Tampa, get themselves organised, get themselves out onto the streets and start talking to voters, trying to convince independents that Mitt Romney is the man they should vote for come August the 6th. This was an important convention for the Republicans. They knew that Barack Obama is popular. If you look at the polls, Mitt Romney's unfavourables are still higher than his favourables. But this was a speech talking not just to the 6,000 Republicans in the hall. This was aimed at the 40 million Americans at home. Now, Mitt Romney will hit the campaign trail again on Friday. The speech is over. The balloons have dropped. The convention, they're already pulling up the cables here. But Mitt Romney will hope he's done a good enough job that Americans will remember what he said here in Tampa when they go and put an X against the name next to the man they want to be president on November the 6th. From the Republican convention here in Tampa, back to the studio.